George, and here we are on Our Coupled.Adventure. Now that you've gotten that RV, there are 5 things I want to suggest that you're going to need for that first trip. Stand by, stay tuned, and I'll show you what those are. In the meantime, when you get a chance, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications of future videos, and thumbs up to like our videos. Go below, leave comments about the things that you use or you might want to use in your RV adventures. All right, well, now you've gotten that RV, you brought it home, and you're wondering, okay, I want to go camping. What do we need to make this happen? Well, you're going to need some essentials, some basics. And I want to talk about what I consider the 5 basic essentials you're going to need for that first camping trip. We're going to go in descending order. So number 5 is going to be some way to manage water. We use for our water management and our utilities the zero G hose. Now typically your potable, or is it potable? Potable? I don't know. Let me know. The potable water hose is going to generally be white or blue. And the 0G, the potable water, food grade water hose, is blue. Very appropriate. Our other hose that we use is a black hose, and we use that for a utility hose and the black tank flush hose. And it's black. It's also by 0G. But because it's black, it fits that role of separating it as a utility hose or a black tank hose. That way I don't get them mixed up, because I do not want to use a utility hose for our freshwater, and I don't want to use the freshwater hose on our black tank or out getting dirty washing things. And we don't want to have to unhook the water hose to do something we need to wash or whatever. We chose the 0G hose because it tends to be lighter, more flexible, and easier to pack and store on the trailer than the other traditional vinyl hoses. So that was one of the things that drove us to it. It's a real high quality hose. We're very happy with them. Number 4, gray tank, black tank, sewage management. Now you got water coming into the trailer. You're going to have to get water out of the trailer. And you do that through the black and gray tanks. We have 2 gray tanks and a black tank on our Rockwood Mini Lite 2506. You may only have 1 gray and 1 black. And the freshwater storage tank. Gray tanks and the black tanks are your sewer tanks, and they need to be drained periodically. We'll talk about tank management in another video shortly, but for the purpose of this video, you're going to need to go out and buy a black tank sewer hose. We use the Rhino Extreme. It's orange and black. It's a rather pricey hose. I think we spent 30 or 40 bucks for the kit. Came with the elbows and the caps and stuff like that, but it's extremely durable, extremely tough. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your time going out and spending $8 on a sewer hose that has just the fitting that attaches to the trailer and an open end at the other end, because you're going to make a mess of everything. It's very hard. They're not very durable. They don't last long, and you're just going to make a mess. Spend a few extra dollars to handle the dirty stuff and get a good quality hose, and there are a number of them out there. Number 3, you're going to need some power. Generally speaking, when you first get your RV, you're not set up for boondocking. You don't start off boondocking or dry camping. You start off going to campground with electrical and water connections. Well, electrical is very important and critical to your RV. When you get your RV, it should come with a power cord. Your RV is either going to be a 30 amp unit or a 50 amp unit. The 30 amp unit you see on RVs that have 1 AC, and if you have more than 1 AC, 2 or 3 or more, you're going to have a 50 amp coach. To manage that electricity is critical, because not all campgrounds are created equal. Not all power pedestals are created equal. Not all maintained equally. There are plenty of horror stories on the internet about people plugging in at the campground to find that the power is bad and they fry the electronics in their RV. That gets expensive. So what we've done, and you should do too, is find some type of minimum, a surge protector, but at the other end, and it's more expensive, is an electric management system. We use one by Progressive Industries. This is a rather expensive unit in the $200 plus, almost $300 range. But the nice thing about this is it has a digital readout. It's going to check the power connection and look for faults. It's going to let you know if there's any errors. It's going to tell you how many volts there are available. And when you're up and running, it's going to tell you how many amps you're drawing. So now you can see what your power load is on your coach. And you see where you're operating. If you're up near the top, near the 30 amp, which I think is 26 continuous amps, you'll be able to manage your power usage a little better. Another very nice feature, very important feature about this power protector, this EMS, is that it has a timer. Not all surge protectors are going to have a timer. So what this allows is for the power to spike or fail or drop. You're either going to get a low voltage or high voltage. It's going to cut the power to the coach. It's going to instantly recognize that and cut the power to the coach. Now, once it does that, it's going to start a timer. It's waiting for the power to come back. When the power is restored to the EMS through the pedestal, the timer starts running. What that allows is for the power coming in to stabilize, to remain consistent, and for your compressor on your AC to prepare for the load that's coming. There are problems with a compressor on an AC getting spiked all of a sudden from a power outage, and it can damage it. What this does is allows for that compressor to decompress, so to speak. I'm not an AC guy, so I really don't understand the mechanics behind it. But it allows that compressor to rest for a few minutes, and then once the power is restored and consistent, the timer goes. If everything is checked out by the box, it sends electricity back to your coach. And it'll do it on a low voltage side, and it'll do it on a high voltage side. Very important. Expensive, but it's cheaper than replacing electronics on your RV. Even at the house, we use, not one as fancy as that, but we have another Progressive Industries one, like the step below, that has colored lights. Even with our known power source at the house, we still use a surge protector electric management system because of that timer. You just never know when you're going to have a blackout at the house for whatever reason, a storm. The power goes out and it then suddenly comes back, or it spikes. And instead of sending that spike straight to the AC and the other electrical components, the timer waits for that electricity to settle down, become consistent, and then re-energizes the coach. Very good protection for your electronics in your coach. Number 2, how you maintain the odor in your tanks. We use a product called Happy Campers. We're not endorsed by any of these companies I'm bringing up here. This is stuff we've researched, we've bought, and we use, and we're very satisfied with. There's no paid endorsements here, but we use Happy Camper. It's a powder form. There are other things out there like the pods that look like the pods you put in your dishwasher. You can use those too. But our research kind of guided us toward the Happy Camper, and we've been very happy. We've had no odor issues. We do manage our tanks as best we can. We do flush them. We keep them clean. And we store the trailer with the Happy Camper in it, and a couple gallons of water in each tank, and each P-trap on the sinks and the showers. We also, when we get to the campground, we added a little more Happy Campers for the trip to kind of reactivate it. And we've had no issues with odors at all. We're very happy with it. All right, something that's probably the most critical and the number one important thing to have for your RV is a tire pressure gauge. This is what we use. It's a digital one we got off Amazon. Pretty inexpensive. I think I got it under $20. But before each trip, the tire pressures are checked. The RV manufacturer makes a recommendation, as well as the recommendation on the sidewall of the tire. Keep your tire pressures set to those pressures. Soft tires, underinflated tires, tend to flex more. Flexing in the sidewall generates heat. Heat is the enemy, the number one enemy, followed closely by potholes, of your tires. The heat, if a tire gets overheated, it will blow out. Very critical. That's why you see the majority of your tire blowouts are improperly maintained tires. So prior to each trip, I check my tire pressures and set them at the factory recommendation. Then, as we travel, I'll check them visually and by hand to see if they're hot. I'll create another video and talk about how we manage the tires on this RV. We're looking to change tires in the near future. The tires that came with the trailer are pretty good. They're not bad. We're happy with them. But we may upgrade. We don't know yet. A lot of horror stories out there about China bombs. We haven't experienced that, so we're not sure if we want to invest the money. If we manage the tires properly with proper pressures and visual inspections regularly, we think we'll be okay. The RV manufacturer, on the side of the coach, there's a label. And that label is going to list the tire sizes, and it's going to give you the operating max PSI for your tires. This will probably correspond exactly with what's on the sidewall. Sidewall rating may be a little higher, but use what the manufacturer of the trailer or the RV has recommended, because they have based that number on their knowledge of the suspension, the weights, and the distribution of the weights in the trailer. So those are the 5 essential things that you're going to need just to get started. There are plenty of other things, and we spent a lot of money once we bought our RV. And here's a picture of all the stuff we bought. This was a pile in the house that looked like Christmas. A lot of the stuff is good to have. A lot of it is nice to have. Some of it's frivolous, but it makes it a little more comfortable. And we'll cover some of that stuff in future videos. But to get going, you're going to need these 5 essentials. Now, if you watch this video and you're already camping, or you're buying stuff for your RV, leave comments below. Tell us what you're buying, the things that you like to have. Start that conversation that we can learn from, other people can learn from, and it'll make going camping and RVing more enjoyable. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, hit the like, and we'll see you on the next one. Happy adventures.